It's been nearly 2 weeks since the arrest of 23-year-old Neo Langston. If that name doesn't sound very familiar to you, his buddies will. Neo is apparently friends with singer David. You know, the guy who allegedly owned the Tesla where the decomposing body of his reportedly underage girlfriend, Celeste Rivas Hernandez, would eventually turn up. We're talking 14 years old. Neo Langston was arrested in Montana, of all places, for allegedly failing to appear as a witness in court. But those days are over. TMZ is reporting that Neo showed up at a Los Angeles courthouse today for his time in the hot seat before reportedly a grand jury potentially hearing evidence in the David case, that he spent roughly 30 to 40 minutes in front of the panel before leaving. Fairly interesting, by the way. Not only did he dodge questions on his way out, but 30 to 40 minutes, not a long time. What did he testify to? And let's not forget why this is such a big deal. It's been nearly 5 months since Celeste's body was found, and there have been no arrests, no charges. Are we now any closer to justice for the victim? I'm joined now by somebody who knows this case backwards and forwards, Lauren Conlin. She's an LA Magazine contributor and host of the podcast, The Outlier. Again, she's been covering the case since the beginning. Great to see you. Okay, what's the connection between David and Neo, for people who don't know, and what do you think he testified to, if in fact he testified in front of a grand jury?
Sure. Well, David and Neo, they ran in the same social circles. Neo is also an influencer, a popular streamer. He goes by Neo the Asian. And what's super interesting, Jesse, is, by all accounts, these guys are very, very close. I mean, Neo was seen in tons of David's social media pictures at his home, on tour with him. And then after Celeste was found in the frunk of the Tesla, Neo unfollowed David, and it appears that he has wiped his social media about 90% clean of David. So the fact, that the police extradited him literally from Montana to LA to testify here, and he only spent 30 minutes on the stand. Yeah. I mean, that tells me that he invoked the Fifth Amendment. I mean, I don't know this personally, of course, but I mean, you go through all of this trouble, right? He's very close to David. David's manager, Robert Morgenroth, was on the stand for 3 days. This is not really adding up, Jesse, and I'm starting to get really worried here. I mean, this is taking long enough as it is, but you've got a little girl, a minor child who was found in the trunk of a popular 20-year-old singer's car. I mean, what are we doing here?
I agree with you. 30, 40 minutes in a grand jury, it can happen because it's, one-sided proceeding, but it feels really short. I mean, if he, pled the Fifth, right, against self-incrimination, means he didn't work out some sort of immunity deal, right? There was a talk about whether or not he was the target of this, whether or not he was just a witness. I guess he's afraid about what he might say.
Well, right. And if you saw the TMZ video of him coming out of court with a lawyer, he had an attorney, so he wasn't talking. And so clearly his attorney instructed him, if he did invoke his Fifth Amendment rights, his attorney said, yeah, you don't really have to answer anything. And, I thought it was interesting what the TMZ producer actually asked Beth Silverman, who is the homicide prosecutor, I might add, just to reinforce the fact that we are talking about a homicide. But they were asking Beth Silverman, why hasn't David been arrested yet? And then they said, why did you call Neo as a witness? I mean, I think that a lot of people have speculated based on camera footage that people have viewed that are connected to the case, that he was around the area of David's home right around the time that David was leaving for his tour at the end of July. Now, I'm not saying that means, he's guilty of anything, he holds any culpability, but, him being in Neo's house, around Neo's house, by the car, I just feel like we should be a lot further along here, and we're not.
And something to clarify, we have no idea what these charges could be. It could be a homicide charge, it could be a disposal of the body, or, by the way, there has been talk about, could there be charges regarding David's alleged relationship with a minor, and what could they be looking at? And he could be a central figure. So it is interesting to see this. I spoke to Steve Fisher, the PI, who's like all over this case. He's concerned that this shows a weakness in the case. Do you think there's a weakness in the case, though? Because, my gosh, it's been going on for several months. They have the car. You have to imagine they've been presenting witnesses. Do you think this is a weak case against, I don't even know who? Could it be against David? Could it be against others?
I am beginning to think that this is a weak case. And actually, you know what? I take it back. I'm not beginning to think. I think I thought this from the start, essentially, when there wasn't an arrest. Pretty much immediately after the body of a teenager is found in someone's car. I mean, and this person just happens to be somewhat famous, and they happen to have resources here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, you're right though. This is concerning, and I think Steve is right. This is concerning because this is not just about Celeste being deceased here. You have a minor. You might even have some kind of trafficking issue. I mean,
That's what Steve
I'm
says.
not sure.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.